this process that is now being played out obviously was triggered from Marikana onwards. There are many dynamics that are forcing various parties into various positions as we speak. And it does seem to be intractable at this point in time. But with every collective bargaining process, eventually a solution is found. Unfortunately, the longer that this one goes on, there can be many casualties, not only in terms of job security, but in terms of general impact on the economy in general, and indeed in particular in terms of Rustenburg.
Pat, that's what I was getting at. I mean, if you look, we were talking about England, the coal mining strikes there lasted for around a year, and the industry never recovered. So if we look at the future, we could be heading in a direction like that, or maybe something more positive when there's finally consensus around what is a good wage for a mine worker. Are you positive or pessimistic?
I always attempt to be as optimistic as possible in these situations. Clearly, negotiators in collective bargaining processes, they're not only responsible for just putting the position of their particular constituents, but they also have to negotiate with their own constituents in terms of what is practical as opposed to what is ideal. And this is obviously putting a lot of strain on both sets of negotiators in terms of employers and the union itself.
Pat, I understand you've spoken in the past about a lack of trust, about both sides taking extreme positions, never working together for a solution. Is this something specific to South Africa? Do we have specifically hostile labour relations?
I don't think so. I mean, if I take you back prior to 1994, it was really collective bargaining processes that developed a lot of the sensitivity on both sides of the table to the demands of a new democracy. We are not, as South Africans, necessarily poor negotiators or new to the game. Certainly there have been some problems post-1994. The fact that the trade unions lost a lot of major leaders through to political careers and commercial careers, the fact that we have plumped to a large extent for sectoral bargaining in this country has limited the number of negotiating options in terms of developing leaders. And we've had the IMF for some time saying to South Africa, look, you aren't flexible enough in terms of your bargaining outcomes. You go for simplistic settlements as opposed to actually looking at the needs of particular sectors of your economy and indeed different sizes of firms within those sectors. So we are still growing, we still need to mature, but I'm not despondent that collective bargaining is a total disaster in this country. No.
Well, it's interesting what you raised, because there were concerns about a lack of skills of negotiating, bargaining, arbitration prowess, even in the CCMA.
Yeah, Let me just share with you, and perhaps you haven't been fully briefed prior to inviting me to this particular interview. I am a member of the CCMA mediation team in this matter, and clearly for those sort of reasons I'd prefer not to comment too far on that one.
All right, thank you for clarifying that, Pat. I didn't know. The final question then I will pose to you is Interunion rivalry, because some analysts have pointed to that as very critical here. Do you think that AMCU could emerge stronger if there's an agreement, or have they really been hit hard by the length of these negotiations and the fact that the mining houses have not given in easily?
Well, clearly the inter-union rivalry is a key element in the platinum sector at this point in time. Post Marikana, you finish up with some 70,000 employees moving from NUM through to AMCU. AMCU, the new kid on the block, obviously has got to test its mettle. And obviously, any red-blooded negotiator on behalf of a trade union, if they're going to keep their members, are going to have to deliver something better than has been achieved by their rival union. So to that extent, there is a problem. And certainly a number of analysts, and I share this view with them, we have tended to go the majoritarian approach to collective bargaining in the sense that winner takes all. In other words, if I have 50% plus one of the members, then you only negotiate with me as a trade union and not other parties. Now, clearly, there's a danger that then you do get into competitive processes between unions, and that perhaps, with hindsight, is not the way to go.
All right, thank you very much for your time this evening. That was Labour analyst Pat Stone.